There it is, man. Boys, girls. St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic Church. Up on a hill, before the cross, beneath the heavens. It's a place where God revealed himself to me when I was a younger man. 16 years old. I'm 29 now. It's been almost 15 years since I was pulling into this very spot, pretty much. In my little Honda Accord stick shift, ripping around here, being a little 16-year-old man, 16-year-old boy. But yeah, I wanted to start this video before I got here because this is where I'm going to hopefully share my testimony. Hopefully it won't be too long, but it'll be long enough. So, my story, my testimony of Jesus Christ in my life began when I was very, very little, obviously from conception, right? But when I came to believe in Jesus for myself, when faith was received as the free gift it is by God's grace in my heart, was when I was about 15. I'd heard the gospel before when I was younger, and I would say I had some childlike faith. But it began when I met this guy named Austin Walker. He shared the gospel with me in a very friendly and personable way. And when I was 15 and 16, I heard the gospel of John. And that summer, when I got my license, I started reading the Bible, like wholeheartedly, for real. Like I read in the book of Jeremiah, God said this through that prophet: if you seek me, you will find me. If you seek me with your whole heart, I will be found by you, declares the Lord. And so that summer, after hearing the gospel and hearing about Jesus saying, come, follow me, and I will make you fishermen of men, I sought Jesus in the Word and through the Bible, and also when I would come out here to pray. And so I read Proverbs that summer, John, James, and I think those are the three main books that I read completely. The Gospel of John, the book of James, and the book of Proverbs. And God revealed himself to me out here at this place. Let me tell you what happened. You know, my buddy Jared, who I grew up with since I was little, you know, we've been really close friends. And I was in a confirmation class, not at the Catholic Church right here in Hastings, but down the road at a place called Resurrection United Methodist Church. Sam Westry's mom and dad, the offensive line that protected me in high school, they were our confirmation leaders, and we were going through this book called Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. That was when I was a 15-year-old going into sophomore year, so we started confirmation freshman year at the United Methodist Church. And I'm trying to find my Bible right here. Yeah, so we went through that book. I didn't really read it the first year. And then when I was over at Jared's playing Call of Duty in his basement, you know, the questions that Sam's mom and dad were asking really made me think, like, seriously, who is Jesus? Who did, can you even see the cross in the video? Maybe can't. They changed this. They didn't have these stations of the cross out here when I first came out here. But yeah, they were leading us in confirmation. And 16, I was in Jared's basement. I was like, Jared, who do you think Jesus is? You know, and he's like, stop right there. He kind of just shut me down because, you know, he kind of grew up going to church, but their family wasn't really much for church going, if you know what I mean. And he's like, if you were born in some other family, some other religion, some other place in the world, you wouldn't be a Christian. And that question really got to me because I was seeking God and I wanted to know the truth. Like, if we're on this planet for a reason, there's got to be something, you know, there's got to be some purpose that we're all here for. And I want to know the truth. If Jesus is the truth, which he claimed, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If he claimed that and it's true, then he's the only way to salvation. He's the only way to heaven, to the Father. And so it got me thinking, and I really considered, like, yeah, what if I didn't have my mom and my grandpa Green that shared the love of Jesus with me when I was little? Where would I be? What would I believe in? And yeah, I would come out here, and back in the day, it wasn't all nicely landscaped. You know me, I'm a landscaper. It was just a wood bench with I love you, Jesus. And those houses weren't even developed yet. This was just a big hill, top of Hastings, kind of overlooking the scenery around. And so I sat down right about here. One night I pulled in with my Honda Accord. It was dark, the sky was, this is my view. Above it. The sun's shining perfectly right now for it. But I was sitting down right here. I don't think I had my Bible with me, but I had the Word in my heart. And I was seeking the Lord. I was earnestly seeking the Lord in prayer, and I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to know that what I heard about Jesus was true, that Jesus actually rose from the dead, that he conquered the grave, that he loves me, as my mom and my grandpa taught me, and so many Sunday school Bible teachers told me when I was a little child. Like the Native Americans, when they were young men seeking a vision, they were sent by their elders to a top of a mountain to seek a vision, from the Creator, from Wakan. And, I'd read that in a book that I got here in Hastings. I can show you that book. And so, at 15 and 16, I kind of figured, like, this is my time now to seek the truth and to find what is true. If Jesus is the truth, and he is, that's what I believe. Some people won't agree with that statement, but it's truth. It is the truth. Jesus is the truth. And I'll show you how he revealed himself to me. I'm sitting right here, right, before this cross. And, I was praying earnestly from my heart and asking God for guidance and for just to know in my heart that, what I had read and what I had heard and what I wanted to know, that what I believed in was true. And so when I was sitting out here, I sat down here for probably like a half an hour. First time I pulled in here, right? And I'm sitting here looking up at the cross, and I'm praying, and I'm asking God, like, I just want to know if everything I've heard and what I believe is true. Like, I want to know for real, for sure, that you love me and that you're, like, everything that I've heard is real. Like, that you actually conquered the grave, that you died on a Roman cross and was buried and rose from the dead. I'm sitting out here thinking through what I just read in those books, right? And things that I had heard as a child and what I had experienced at camp and worship. And I'm looking up at the cross, and it's, like I said, it's in the middle of the night. And over the top of this cross, I've seen one shooting star before this in my lifetime. It was down in Arizona. We lived down there when I was little. My mom and my dad moved us down there with Tom and Terry Pritchard. But we were going to visit my cousin Corey at his high school graduation. I was in 3rd grade, so 2003. And you know the saying, right? Shooting star, make a wish, right? It's like Disney, children. And I remember seeing the shooting star at the campfire with my Uncle Tom playing his guitar, right? And I remember I made a wish. I was wearing my Brett Favre jersey at the time. And I was like, I want to be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers one day. That's what I wished. And, wishes can come true, and, they also don't have to come true. Prayers can come true and they don't have to come true. But the second time I saw a shooting star, right, not when I was a child, but here at 16 years of age, right, before this cross, shot right over the top of the cross, from, if I'm remembering rightly, from left to right. And in that moment, like, people talk about moments that take their breath away. That was a moment of awe for me. Like, oh, God is listening to me. Like, he sees me. That's how I felt in my soul. I was like, whoa. And, like, I remember, I think, lifting up my hands and just saying, thank you. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for what you've shown me, right? For what you've revealed to me, right? God says that he reveals through Jesus, right? He reveals himself to the childlike, but he hides himself from the proud, right? The kingdom of heaven is for the childlike, man. It's the truth. And so I saw that shooting star, and I remember praying the Lord's Prayer, Our Father in heaven, that prayer. And then I remember saying my favorite Bible verse out loud, or my life verse is what I call it. And that's Proverbs 3:5-6. Just like Jeremiah, I have it memorized in my heart. It's not just up here like the Pharisees had it up here. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's here, boys and girls. It's by believing that Jesus is Lord. Like, it's through your confession of faith. If you believe that Jesus is Lord and he rose from the dead, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God the Father raised him from the dead, you will be saved. And I did. And I remember saying my verse, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all of your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. It was a powerful night. And I just remember thinking, now what do I do? Now what do I do now that I know? Like, I didn't hear no audible voice. I didn't see the heavens rend open and like chariots of fire descending like Elijah. I didn't see none of that. And it's in this book, and I believe it did happen to the ancient prophets of old. All I saw was a shooting star over top of this cross. And for me in that moment, it was like God was revealing, my Father in heaven was revealing himself to me. And I just thought in my mind, now what do I do that I know? Like, that you've given me a vision of like, hey, like it felt like God was speaking to me in that moment, like, I'm right here. I see you. I love you. That's what it felt like. And yeah, I remember saying, thank you so much over and over and over again. And I remember as I started walking back, right, no stones were here and no stations of the cross, other than that one right there. I was looking off to the west. It wasn't like this super long thing, right? Not even long. This video is probably going to be shorter than my testimony. But I was looking off to the west over there, just beyond the cornfield. And as I was walking back to my black Honda Accord, right, like I'm doing right now, because it's kind of cold. My hands are getting a little cold holding this phone. Jesus said, it is finished. I am forgiven and I am saved. And I will be in God's kingdom forever because my name is written in the Lamb's book of life. It's what I know now that I didn't then. I just had simple childlike faith. But I was looking off to the west, right? And they talk about the joy of my salvation. This was like jaw-dropping again. I saw, looking off to the west, another shooting star that shot right back to the cross. I turned around like this, back to the cross from about this distance actually. Right here, maybe a little further. And I was looking at the cross and I just was like, it was like I got chills, you know? Like you've had that feeling before. And I was like, in my mind, it was like God put a thought in there where it was like, back in the day, I thought like this. It was like, and in case you doubt, don't. Like, remember the cross. Remember what I've done for you here. Remember me. Like, that's what I felt like he was saying. Like, you know, and I just felt like when I saw the second shooting star, I was like, I'd seen one before in my lifetime, and now I've seen two in like 30 minutes out here looking at the cross, and like was over the cross and it shot right back to the cross. It's like, I don't think that's coincidence. Some scientists will say, oh, it's a, you know, whatever, this and that. It's like, you guys, like, I have faith. Like, God is not just some pie in the sky God. Like, the God of the Bible is real. And like, he hides himself from the proud and he reveals himself to the childlike. And miracles did happen. Like, that Christ actually was crucified, like Lee Strobel, right? Read his book. He was one of your own. Lee Strobel was an agnostic or an atheist, a devout one too. A detective in Chicago, of all places. His wife became a Christian, and then he started reading the Bible, and God saved him just like he saved me 15 years ago. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to force the Bible down your throat. I'm just telling you my story. I'm saved. I know Jesus Christ rose from the dead. There's physical evidence of it, and I will say that because, the Bible is a physical document. It has historic roots, historic origins. People that actually felt Christ with their own hands, saw him with their own eyes. John, of all people, touched the dude, leaned his head on Jesus' chest at the Last Supper. You think that guy would lie and die for a lie? No. You think he'd want to spend how many years in a Roman prison because of some dude that was a phony? Absolutely not, guys. Think about it. Use your reason. For Christ's sake, use it. He made you. So, yeah, I saw that second shooting star and I was like, okay, there's a God. And I had faith prior to the shooting stars. That's a cool thing. I believed that I was questioning my faith, but I still believed. I believe it's through faith that you're saved in Jesus. It's not by works, right? I'll quote Ephesians 2:8 for you. For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith. This is not of yourselves, not by works, lest any man should boast. It is the free gift of God. Salvation is God's work, and he's done it in my life, y'all. And the God of the stars, the God of the heavens, and I can tell you this, right? It's in Psalms. It's in Genesis. He breathed the stars into being. Out of the breath of the Almighty, the whole of the hosts of heaven came to be, and he calls each of them by name. There's so many stars in our galaxy that scientists can't even name them all. Can't even name them all. It would take you more than your whole lifetime. Right? Well, God already has them all by name. That's how awesome our God is. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wings. Power and love. Our God is an awesome God. Thank you, Lord, for saving my soul. Use this testimony for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Peace. Tell you more about it later.